everybody, to this final breakout session. We have one here, obviously, from Arrival, and we have another session going out at the same time together with some of the Fleet Europe experts to look at the results of the polls. Of course, this one is much more interesting, so I encourage everybody to stay here. I just wanted to briefly introduce our two speakers here today. We have Davide Ghione, who's CCO of Arrival, an exciting new brand that is coming to the market. And we have Hamish Phillips, who's head of sales in the UK, also for Arrival. And they will provide us a short presentation, a little bit in, with the topic in how to improve your fleet with electrification to make sure that you can ensure commercial business success. As every breakout session, you have the chance to ask your questions to our speakers. You can put your questions in the chat on the right-hand side. And then after the presentation, we will do a short Q&A and try to answer most of them, at least if we can. So Davide, Hamish, welcome. I'll immediately hand over to you. I'll drop out and I'll see you again when the presentation is done. All right? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Sven. Thanks for the warm introduction. So Hamish and I will be co-presenting today, and we'll quickly introduce you to what Arrival is and what Arrival is currently preparing to do. My goal is to keep the presentation very short and to the point, so that we can allow enough time and space for questions afterwards, which we very much welcome. So let's get into it. I don't know how many of you have heard of Arrival before. Arrival is a company that exists now for 6 years. For the first 5.5 years of our life as a company, we've been operating as an R&D center, really researching the subject of electric vehicles in the commercial vehicle space. And with the core, the starting point for everything that the company has been doing so far is affordability. Yeah, so we know, everybody in this forum knows that the electrification of commercial fleet is long overdue. Specifically for the last mile mobility. So with a van that you see in this picture, but also with other type of means of transportation, such as a bus, is something that makes a lot of sense. And we believe that the cost barrier, together with some other barriers, such as charging, to give an example, have been slowing down the adoption rate. So in essence, long story short, everything we do it with affordability in mind. We believe that there is no reason why an electric vehicle should be more expensive than an internal combustion engine than a diesel vehicle. At the moment of time, if we look at the van industry, there are some electrified internal combustion engine propositions that are normally sold for a premium price of 5,000-10,000 euro more expensive than the typical diesel vehicle, and normally also with a lower discount. So we believe that is not sustainable in essence, and so we've been researching the subject and trying to understand how can we essentially bring to the market best-in-class electric vehicles without a premium price, actually with a price that is comparable to the one of a diesel vehicle. So if we move to the next slide, you will see what is the result of that research that the company has been doing. Arrival really is a technology company. So our focus is design and production and manufacturing of a range of electric vehicles that, as you can see in this chart, our product roadmap at the moment starts with a municipal bus. It allows us to tackle two problems at the same time. So the problem of congestion and pollution in city centers. The second product that we bring into the market next year in 2022 is a parcel delivery van. We're going to show you a lot more about this parcel delivery van in a minute. Later on in 2022, there will be another delivery van, but slightly bigger. So in the category of the 7.5 tons vehicles. And finally, in a couple of years from now, we will launch also a smaller vehicle platform. So what we call internally the one tonner. So for the transportation of goods or even passengers at a certain point. Of course, everything we do is full electric. In fact, everything we do is designed from the ground up to be an electric vehicle. It is one of those, say, ingredients or the secret sauce to make sure that we deliver products at a very affordable TCO. We produce all the hardware and the software in-house. All our vehicles are autonomous ready. And we're going to show you in a minute that to take advantage of this, say, ground-up design, we introduce new and different type of materials compared to traditional vehicles that we've seen out there. So we use composite materials instead of steel panels, for example. Of course, it's a very challenging goal that we set ourselves. And we're doing this by means of partnerships and with some, let's say, with a strong financial backing. So if we move to the next slide, here we summarize some of our commercial and strategic partnerships. One of those partnerships is, let's say, something that you can find in the news. Actually, all of this is already available, it's public available information. We've been working and co-developing the parcel delivery van with UPS. UPS also placed an order for 10,000 units plus an option for another 10,000 units. When we say parcel delivery van is of course a van that is optimized for that last mile delivery cycle. We're going to show you some picture in a second so that we clarify what we mean by that. Another strategic partnership worth mentioning is the one with Hyundai Kia. Again, we are very proud and honored to have a well-established OEM with a lot of experience in volume manufacturing as a strategic partner and strategic investment in Arrival, publicized 1 year ago with 100 million euros investment. Finally, BlackRock, as a leading technology investment firm, also injected 180 millions in Arrival, and that serves as a catalyst for us to accomplish our business plan and start producing vehicles, the bus later on this year and the van starting from next year. One thing that is not in this slide, but I am very excited to mention, we are in the process of becoming a public traded company, and before the end of the month, we will be, we will announce the completion of the reverse IPO process for Arrival to be quoted on the New York Stock Exchange. So let's stop talking about financials and the company background, and let's look into the product, which is the most exciting part. Hamish, do you want to share this with the audience?
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Davide. So here you can see the image of the parcel van that Davide was talking about. You can see with the sliding passenger door, and it has a walk-through bulkhead for the driver to walk through, pick up the parcels, exit through the back or the front. Very low floor, which is very convenient and means that it's best for welfare for drivers to be getting in and out of a low-floor cab. Here's some slightly more. This is the most recent image taken, I think, just last week. Some of the interior shots. You'll see it's a very kind of Spartan design with the focus on the driver, really. So giving great visibility for the driver, plus the HMI, the human machine interface, the touchscreen there to enable the control. We have a very large team of software developers here at Arrival. We're very much a software development company, as well as a technology company, and it's very much driven lots of our decision making so far. Just some points on the van itself. Looking at in building from the ground up, we've been able to strip out a lot of weight, and so what you can see there on the left is our unladen weight versus a Sprinter or a Transit is lower. Now, this is perhaps quite unusual at the moment in the electric vehicle market, as you may expect an electric vehicle to have a weight penalty, but we've managed to turn that around, and what that means is that we're able to take a payload of up to 2 tons in a van, and up to 17 meters cubed of cubic meter cargo capacity, and that's based on the gross vehicle weight of 4.25 tons with the special dispensation for electric vehicles. But you can see there the kind of payload advantage that we can get in. which means which is what people are looking at, is essentially you can get a shorter wheelbase van, but get a greater payload or greater cubic meter capacity, which I think is quite exciting. On the kind of TCO, we won't focus on the bus TCO today, but looking at the van TCO, based on 100 kilometers per day and 365 days per year over 10 years, we can see against a diesel van a 17% improvement in TCO, and versus today's competitor e-vans, an almost 30% improvement. And that's driven by this kind of ground up approach that we've taken. 5 years of being a research and development company, actually stripping things down to the core, to actually the bare bones, and then building it up, stripping it down again to make sure that we've got extreme efficiency, as lightweight as possible. We're able to build the vans and buses by robotic assembly, thereby stripping out cost. And of course, being electric, we can really reduce maintenance cost. And all our components are modular, which is designed for ease of replacement. And this kind of this slide here kind of gives everything, I think, quite neatly. We've approached it by building, designing our own components, which are all plug and play. We have our own composite materials, which Davide will talk about in a second, and we put it all into a skateboard platform, which we build in microfactories and then have plug and play software.
So,
Davide, over to you.
Thank you, Hamish. I'm going to be very fast here because I see we're running out of time, and I do want to allow time for a Q&A at the end. So Hamish emphasized these 5 technological advantages of Arrival, and really at the core of what we do, and how we intend to solve the problem of affordability for e-LCVs. Very quick on the plug and play components. What you can see in this picture is the battery pack. The battery modules are used throughout our product range, and they are exactly the same. So by doing that, of course, we can ensure economy of scale, and we can ensure very, very simple design. The easiest way to think of that is Lego bricks. So the battery modules, the drive unit, and many other components are exactly the same in a bus as well as in a van. And that is to the great advantage of, say, reliability of the components and the economy of scale again. I wanted to show you a little video about composite materials, because that is another very important piece of the equation. Hamish, if you can skip to the next one. We don't use metal stamping. In fact, our factories, the microfactories that Hamish mentioned, can be multiplied and can be built very close to demand. So we have an expansion plan with multiple microfactories across the planet, and many in Europe for sure. Our factories do not need a metal stamping or a paint shop, because we don't use steel panels. We use composite materials that happen to be very lightweight, very durable, and very resistant to any sort of impact. In fact, if we see the difference, what happens if you smash with a hammer a traditional steel panel, something that we are all very familiar with it. Oh, the video is a bit crunchy, but I think it's playing. And yeah, what you see on the right side is a composite panel. It is actually the fender that goes above the wheelbase of the bus. And as you can see, with that type of impact, there is almost no damage done whatsoever. In fact, there is no damage at all. And the type of material is painted throughout. So even in case of a scratch, actually, you don't see anything underneath. So long story short, this leads to a significant advantage in terms of SMR, service maintenance and repair, and again, securing a superior TCO that otherwise it could not be achieved by using aluminum or other type of metal for body panels. I would like to wrap it up. So maybe let's keep to the next slide, Hamish. And I believe this slide deck will be available for anyone to consult afterwards. This is a modular skateboard design. As you can imagine, everything is built around the battery. This is a snapshot to our microfactories. Sorry, it was the next one. And yeah, this is what a microfactory looks like. And that's all from us for now. So that we still have time for some Q&A, Sven.
All right, great. No, thank you guys. Very impressive. I mean, it looks amazing. That's already one thing. I mean, it's a little bit futuristic, obviously, because we're still talking about concept pictures, but it does look very interesting. I do have a couple of questions myself, but also to the audience. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. But I'll start with one of my own, if I may. You were mentioning flexible battery packs. Okay, what can we expect with that? Is that then purely looking at range packs? I mean, or what do I need to understand on flexible battery packs?
So every module that you saw, those type of Lego bricks, are 3.7 kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And the chassis, that skateboard that you saw for a second before, allows us to pack as many battery pack as needed. So we know that most customers, the vast majority of customers that we are dealing with, will need a minimum range of 100 kilometers on one charge. And so with a smaller battery pack, 44 kilowatt hours, we achieve actually 120. And in some cases, people will need to have a lot more energy packed in the vehicle. So the biggest battery pack option is 135 kilowatt hours, ensuring a range of more than 350 kilometers with one charge. Again, it's really about finding the right compromise. Yeah, we wouldn't recommend customers to pack too much energy if not needed, because the more battery pack, the lower the payload, of course.
Yes, obviously. So, and what is then like if you're talking about UPS doing a pre-order, what is like then the optimum from a parcel delivery point of view? What is the optimum composition of battery pack versus payload?
Very good question. It's actually somewhere in the middle. So we know that by talking to a lot of parcel delivery companies, a 66 kilowatt hour battery pack or an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack will be more than enough. So for a vehicle that drives within the city limits, it's very unusual for this vehicle to drive more than 100 kilometers per day. Mm-hmm. In fact, we're looking at some stats. Again, last mile delivery can be even a lot less than that. There is a lot of start and stops. So we obviously want to make sure that it is possible to do the entire cycle in one day, even one or two shifts with one full charge, so that we don't want to disrupt the operations. You don't need to top it up in the middle of the day. You can just do depot charging overnight, which is a lot more economical than DC charging in the middle of the day. And also we want to make sure that the ergonomics, the moves, every single move of the operator is optimized, and it is also done in full safety. That door that is between the passenger compartment and the cargo area, so the door in the bulkhead, is extremely important, because then you don't have to step outside the van. You can just walk through, pick up what you need to deliver, and then walk from the back of the van.
Yeah. Also from a timing perspective, again, that could save, in the volume, potential big amount of time.
Exactly.
Okay, I saw a question coming in from Benjamin. It's something similar to what I had, actually. I mean, looking at the segments, so the focus audiences for you, is that purely those large fleet operators, or are you also looking at individual sales, or how do I need to look at that?
Yeah, very good question, Sven. So for now, we are focusing on larger fleets. We believe we are not structured to serve the SME market quite yet. So that is something that we will tackle at a later stage. For the moment of time, we're only focusing on larger fleets. This is where we believe we can offer a stronger value proposition, also because of the way the product can be customized. So bespoke solutions is our bread and butter, really. Yeah. So also because of the manufacturing concept, because of the microfactories really allow bespoke solutions for large fleets. And specifically, our focus is in whatever happens within the city limits. So the last mile delivery is where we feel like we have a stronger proposition. You don't have obstacles such as charging or range anxiety, because you're just traveling within a city limit. And so we're talking to a lot of companies in the parcel delivery segment, in the food and beverage. We're talking with a lot of leasing companies, of course, a very important player in the marketplace. and also pharmaceuticals, utility companies. So anyone that needs to operate a fleet within the city limits.
Okay, and if you're saying 2022, looking at the parcel delivery vans or going into production, is that then can we estimate that the first year is fully dedicated towards UPS, for example, or is there already room to start looking at other customers as well?
So in 2022, we are projecting to build approximately 10,000 units. A significant portion of that production capacity is already allocated, but we still have some capability. We are actually thinking of expanding capability given the strong demand. We all know that COVID is leading to a spike of e-commerce, and that is really driving demand for last mile delivery solutions with an ELCV. And then we're definitely going to have to up our games, and our projection for 2023 is 40,000 units. So we're going to be able to serve a lot more customers moving forward. But we are also aware that we need to be able to walk before we can run.
Yeah.
So we don't want to stretch it too far, and we believe that starting with 10,000 units in 2022 is the right thing to do for us. And actually, we are already busy building products right now. So there are a lot of vehicles that are being given right now. They are being driven by our partner for intense validation and road trials. So that by the time we start general production, actually we have a lot of miles on the vehicles already.
Okay. So a question coming in from Tom from Bpost. A good question is, the service network. How will that be rolled out? Will you be utilizing perhaps some of your partners, your investment partners, perhaps that network? How can we see that?
No, we're not gonna. We don't intend to work with Kia and Hyundai with the network of our strategic partner, but we are developing our own independent network of service points. We recently rolled out in January. We rolled out an RFP for service partners. So we are looking into independent service partners, and the vehicle really is designed for serviceability. So annual inspections will happen every 2 years. Components are very easy to swap over in case the vehicle is involved in an accident, and aesthetic repairs happen to be very, very rare when you adopt composite materials because they're very flexible and durable.
Okay. All right, great. Then if there are no other questions coming in, I have one last one because I'm just curious. So we're building this from the ground up as a pure electric van in this case then. Are we already taking into account autonomous driving for the future? Are we already taking that point of view, let's say, in the development of the vehicle?
Indeed. So our vehicles will have the hardware, will be autonomous driving ready in terms of hardware. So ultrasonic sensors, cameras, and radar. As part of the Arrival ecosystems, we also have a company that trades under the name of RoboRace. Some of you might have seen something in social media about RoboRace. So RoboRace is very fast cars that drive on a racetrack against professional drivers, and they beat the professional drivers with autonomous driving. So this is taking things to extreme, and is helping us to learn a lot about what happens on a road. The first type of features that we will be releasing for our van will be in-depot autonomous mobility. Mm-hmm. So statistically, a lot of the accidents happen when the vehicle needs to get out of a compound in the morning or need to go back all at the same time to be loaded, to be charged, to be washed. So ideally, we're working towards the driver stepping out from the vehicle at the gate, and then the vehicle will just take over. We go to the loading bay in full safety. We'll go to the washing bay and go and get charged and be ready for the morning after. All
right. Great. Well, thank you, guys. I think it was a very interesting presentation. It looks like an exciting future for Arrival, and I can imagine with the IPO coming up, also some busy weeks ahead for both of you. So thank you again. Thank you for the input. To the audience, I just wanted to briefly mention that we now have another networking session where you could talk to your peers, customers, suppliers. So please go ahead. And then I think at 2:50, we will start again on main stage with a very interesting presentation from Google and how they are looking at the impact of AI on last mile efficiency. So thank you guys, and we'll see each other soon. Thank you very much.